Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Hope you're doing well. It's definitely a beautiful, bright blue, sunshiny day again, and it's Friday for most of the rest of the world anyway. It's going to be my Monday, but still an exciting day because I'm putting in my 2 weeks notice today. That's right. So, but anywho, yesterday went to the dealership. Have a lot to think about over the course of the next couple of weeks. I was approved. Of course, they want more deposit than what I was offering. I wanted to play it. Of course, he wanted me to state it ahead of time. I'm like, no. I want to see what they come back with. Just trying to play it cool, basically. And it's not that bad. My only real issue is the vehicles that I would qualify for on the lot. We're looking at vehicles that are around 130,000 miles. Right. On the plus side, there is a warranty, 18-month, 18,000, covers major repairs. So that's a good thing. I'm going to assume with the amount of miles that most likely by this point transmissions have already been rebuilt. With the makes and models that they had available. I'm familiar with the vehicles, particularly the one. The one I'm not too familiar with, but same maker, it's just the models. Basically Chevys. The one that I was most interested in is the Impala. Used to drive those all the time when I was a cab driver, especially there towards the end. With the year, it's a 2013, so I'm already familiar with that year range because that was pretty much around the time that I stopped driving cab and I was driving. Actually, my last Impala that I drove was a 2012. So, yeah, pretty familiar with them and everything. So I know how they handle. I also know the issues that they can have, especially once they get over that 100,000 mile mark. I think the one I drove from time to time when I was a new driver with that particular company, I think it had like 180,000 on it, something like that. Ran pretty rough. Especially during the day, summer months, barely kept up with the summer heat as far as the AC system was concerned. And damn, that thing, the gas smell that came in through the vents, oh, that was awful. But I didn't test drive it or anything. I just got the specifics with everything and left it at that. And pretty much walked out and called my Uber. I wanted to go alone, so I took an Uber over there. Wasn't that far. It was kind of funny because I got over there to the area, even though I hadn't been in that area before. I was like, this kind of looks a little familiar. And I looked, and sure enough, ooh, red squirrel. Sure enough, we were right off the road from PetSmart, so that's where I went afterwards. Oh, there they go, chasing each other. So, yeah, I figured while I was out, needed food for her anyway. I really wasn't in the mood to be going out to Whole Foods. So I decided, okay, I'll just go ahead, grab her food while I'm out. When I get home, I'll just walk over to Festival. That's the grocery store that's right here. And I knew I was going to have to, of course, pay more for the food and everything, but just buy myself something to cook for dinner and for the next few days. Maybe go on Monday. I know it'll be Memorial Day, probably won't be much left and this and that and everything, but at least I could always maybe see about ordering. I don't know. I'll see. So anyway, at least this is giving me an option, something to think about over the next couple of weeks, and I can make a decision. You know, I can ask some questions. You know, what about minor repairs? You know, I'm trying to think of the things that I could possibly have to be dealing with with the vehicle right now. Mostly what I'm coming up with as far as anything that's more major, you know, something like serpentine belt, you know, of course. Depending, I'd of course want to take a look at that. Coolant system. That's the next major thing that I can think of. If anybody else thinks of anything, let me know in the comments. Water pump, radiator, that's what I'm thinking of. So, yeah. And of course, you know, I wanted to ask those questions if the warranty covers it. 18,000 miles. Doesn't sound that bad, except for what I'm going to be using the car for, of course. Of course, I would not be bringing that up in any of the discussions. Need to know basis, basically. Not a good idea, because a lot of times those warranties wind up becoming null and void. But of course, I can use the excuse with being from Vegas if there's things I need to take care of. That's the reason for all the mileage piling up. Right. So, don't like doing that, but at the same point, hey, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And that's not right. But one of the things I thought about is definitely a plus. Of course, I would have low monthly payments. But of course, I would need to, about the cost, it actually cost me less than a week's worth of rental through either of the companies that offer through Uber. Plus, I would have the opportunity where I could jump over on DoorDash if I wanted to. So, and it is within range as far as getting approval to do ride sharing, if I wanted to, which I don't. But so I mean, I have a lot to think about. But that's another question I'd want to ask them. It'd be nice if I could see the paperwork, see the warranty, see the contract. That would be nice. I'd have to ask that, and also find out about early payoff. If there's any sort of penalties or anything like that. Usually there isn't, but you never know. And then on the plus side, I would have a trade-in, something that I could use to possibly trade out to something a little bit better. I'd have collateral, again, which I don't have. It'd be a way for me to build myself up. So it's mostly that warranty, needing to find out what all is involved with that. So I need to ask all those questions and everything. And I say I can always text them, so I don't have to worry about being available to do phone calls or anything. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. yeah, I'll admit I was a little, I don't want to say disgruntled or anything. I wasn't really disappointed. I sort of figured if I was approved that I would wind up, you know, in a situation like this. So I was prepared and everything. I definitely was not expecting the world. And I also got to thinking as far as all of the, you know, with everything, you know, as far as the initial cost, the down payment, it's like, okay, by the time everything is said and done, I'd probably at least base be paying somewhere around $8,300. So that's not that bad. And keep the expenses low and so forth, and that's where the warranty is going to come in with setting money aside. How much will I actually need to set aside for repairs? And of course, I'll have to make sure I have the oil changes and all that sort of crap. Need to check all that too before making decisions. And of course, this would be assuming that the car would still be available in a couple of weeks when I get paid next. So, yeah, lots of things. But, you know, there'd be another one. That's the way I look at it. And who knows, during that time, especially if I do show I'm interested still, something else might come along. You know, because basically, with what he had available on the lot right now, everything's like around 130,000 miles. But basically, the range is between 100,000 or higher. There was one SUV. You don't want me talking about that one. The other one was a minivan. You don't want me talking about that one either. Both of them were close to 200,000 miles. I ain't doing it. No way. Not doing that. So, yeah. Things I need to think about. Also, downtime is something else I need to take into consideration. If the car does wind up needing repairs, how much downtime am I going to be facing? Because once I'm down, that's it. I'm not working. So, something else to consider. Not working, not getting paid. So I mean, I'm not going into any of this blind. I have the experience. I know what I'm facing. Let's face it, 6 years as a cab driver, 7 years as rideshare and delivery driver. So I'm not going into any of this blind. Hey there, Robbie. Oh, I gotta fly away now. You talk to me. So I know it's a beautiful, gorgeous morning. Love it. So, I smell flowers. This thing I'm loving the most. My body is acting normal. Did have a little bit of spasm when I was doing one of my yoga stretches this morning, but it didn't last long. And it wasn't piercing, you know, like that bone piercing like I was dealing with before. It's just a little eek, you know. I just stopped, slowed down, and that was pretty much it. So, in my body, when I am getting, you know, a little bit of congestion or whatever, I am, my body's doing what it's supposed to do with getting it up and so forth. Not like a year ago where it seemed like my body didn't know what to do. Let's face it, I've already been through a lot. And I did, yeah, actually, Rick and I were talking about it the other night. Told him about what had happened to me. Well, the other night, a few nights back earlier in the week, during the day, I don't remember. But anyway, doesn't matter. Where I think I had sneezed, if I remember correctly. I don't remember. It was something, I think I had sneezed or did something. Anyway, I did something reactionary. And I wound up bringing up a huge wad. It was like, where'd that come from? It spoofed me. I was like, what the heck? I haven't had this in ages. But I was telling him about it, about how, you know, it spoofed me and everything. But I was like, at least it wasn't like a year ago, you know, after we had everything with the wildfires out there. And unfortunately, with that, I wound up that one night I was getting ready to head out to work, despite everything, and I wound up throwing up, basically. I was using the bathroom, and I just, oh gosh, yeah, I wound up throwing up in the sink, all that crud. And I was telling him about that, and it's like, you know, it was another nice little reminder about, or nice little thing about what I'm doing right now. Reminding me the reasons, one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing right now. You know, basically that motivation. So, if there was any other possible doubt, and don't get me wrong, yeah, it's come up a couple of times. Hey, there's squirrel. But, yeah, I'll admit, it's come up even this morning. And I just am like, no. I remind myself also of that dread that I have with going into work. And the thought of having to spend even longer there. And don't get me wrong, okay? It is a good place to work. It really is, okay? It's just not me. And I've had to recognize that and realize that and respond to that. And that's what I'm doing. So, it's like I told him last night, that this is just one step in that's a part of the plan. So, yeah, that's all any of this is. It's just one step in the direction that I want to go. There's more, in other words. So, and I'm doing that. So, but yeah, and that's what I'm working on. So, yeah, like I said, I've got a lot to think about with everything. Yoga stretches are going very well. Yeah, I had that little issue or what have you, but it's okay. Doing all right. So, but yeah, working on it. Working on everything. And moving in that direction I want to. When I got home, I started working. Well, that's another thing too. I'm thinking about also with buying versus renting. I think that the rentals that I had seen that were basically the gas guzzlers are only when they're available. They're showing them up on there. Otherwise, it's going to be the EVs, and you know how I feel about those. They're not good for this sort of work. You know, when you go out to work, you need to be able to make sure that you can work the whole time and not need to be look for someplace where you can charge up and you're wasting 20, 30 minutes, whatever the case may be, charging your vehicle. That's ridiculous. So, they only last about a couple 100 miles. And I can easily put that on in one shift. So, and I have no idea where I might be able to do that around here. I'd figure it out though. Ah, okay. Okay, Robbie. So, I heard him fluttering in the tree. I'm like, what the world? I don't, never mind. So, anywho, that's something else that I have thought about also. And at least with the Impalas, I know what sort of gas mileage I get too. Already completely familiar with them. So, don't get me wrong, I'm seriously considering buying it. Even though I was completely against it at first. I was like, well, I'll rent a vehicle, save my money, and then I can get something through, maybe through Hertz or something. But I don't think I want to go down the road with Avis because of the reviews that I had read. I mean, and it's the same thing over and over and over with what I've read. So I don't want to deal with that sort of hassles. 3-4 months later, and I still can't even register my vehicle. That's been the biggest issue, with not being able to register, that I read, people not being able to register their vehicles. Basically have a pretty ornament and sitting in their driveway. So, yeah, this is what I'm thinking. You know, of course, you know, thinking about, you know, the gas situation. So, but of course I know too, with knowing how many miles I could wind up putting on a vehicle. I mean, I can easily, within 1 year, put 20,000-30,000 miles on a vehicle with doing the ride-sharing deliveries. So, and that's a lot of maintenance too. So, that's one of the reasons why I need to read that fine print with the warranty. So, yeah, like I said, there's a lot that I need to think about and research before I make a final decision. But either way, I'm moving forward. I am not going to sit around waiting for things or anything. The thought of feeling like I'm a bird stuck in a cage or whatever, it's not me. So, egret flew overhead. That's what I was watching, sorry. So yeah, I just need to I have a lot to think about, take into consideration, and so far, of course. Well, something else I need to look at is car insurance. I think I'm hearing frogs. Wow. Yeah, I think I'm hearing frogs. Interesting. So, anyway, this is so cool. But anywho, yeah, like I said, I have a lot to think about. But in the meantime, I'm coming up on my last leg here of my walk. It feels good just to be able to talk things out and not make any final decisions. Oh, that's what I was talking about. When I got home, I started getting some stuff down on paper as far as the life coaching aspect of my freelance lifestyle. that I want to pursue. So basically things I got to brainstorm about the other day and hadn't had an opportunity to get anything down on paper, basically. So did that, and felt good, felt real good. So main thing is keep pressing forward, keep that passion alive, keep that fire alive, keep moving forward. So, but anywho, oh, that's what else I was going to mention. While I was at the dealership, and while I was waiting for an answer to come back from their financing department, I figured I would just pop up on my personal IG account, and lo and behold, sitting right there was a post from Mr. Mandy Lyon. If y'all remember him from last October, he had come out with a remake of Ace of Spades by Motorhead. It's one of his signature songs that he likes to do when he performs. But he's come out with some new music. So just do a search on YouTube or search for him on for his IG account. The link is in his bio for the music video. I will forewarn you, it's a bit graphic and quite deep and a little bit disturbing, but it's not disturbing in a negative way or what have you. Some of it, at least, from things that I know about him, it is based on his life. So, at least some of it, anyway. But yeah, like I said though, especially stuff there at the very beginning, it's a bit graphic, okay? And if you're sensitive, I'll put it this way, if you're sensitive to child abuse, I would not recommend watching it. But he does bring that issue, very, very serious issues with that. He brings it to light in pretty graphic detail. It is graphic based, meaning computer generated, so it isn't involving any people as far as the abuse is concerned or what have you. But yeah, he does bring to light a very important social issue. So go check it out. The song is called Red Rain. Okay. So that's pretty much what I got for you for right now. I know that this is, from what I had seen, this is a prelude to an autobiography he's been working on for many, many years. He takes his time with things. He doesn't rush anything. So, yeah, even when it comes to his music, he puts out something once every 10 years or something like that. He doesn't like to rush into anything. So, but anyway, yeah, I know this is a prelude to his autobiography that he's apparently it's going to possibly be coming out here soon, according to what was put into the credits and so forth. So anyway, I'd look forward to reading that when it comes out. So anywho, better let you go. I'm really coming up on my last leg now, so I will talk at you later. I love you guys. Talk to y'all soon. Oh, by the way, Miss Possum is doing just fine. Wonderfully. Talk to y'all soon. Love yous. Love you.